I've had the privilege of being able to engage within Bolton as a town for many, many years now, and I found it very important right from the beginning to ensure that I made connections with people both within the public sector, within the private sector and within the voluntary sector. And I thought it was very important from day one in the ministry that I was in at the time was to try and get round as many people as I could within those sectors, just to say who I was, what I was there for, what my passion was, and to give them my card so that we could begin to make connections. I also found it very important to make sure that they understood I was willing to put in the spade work, that I was willing to put in the miles, and that I would serve on various committees, various organisations, and that they had that knowledge that I was willing to give time to this and a commitment to this, and that the passion really was to make Bolton a better place and to be on board with their agenda. So certainly working in the faith and voluntary sector, there are some really easy routes through there. We're very fortunate within Bolton that Bolton CVS is very well established and is very much engaging with the public sector because of its commitment to make sure that the voluntary and community sector, and indeed the faith sector, plays its part within the whole vision agenda for Bolton. So as a consequence, it was very easy really to say, well, if I'm prepared to commit myself to become part of Bolton CVS, and indeed to put myself forward to perhaps become one of the trustees or whatever it might be, then I can begin to engage with that agenda. And to make sure that at every point they understood that I was coming from a faith perspective, but they also understood that I had this vision for what the kingdom might look like, wider than the context of the church walls and the church buildings. And really what you find is that very much the civic leaders, the public sector, the private sector, the voluntary sector often have key principles that they work towards. And when we were looking at the vision for Bolton and Vision 2030 as it became, and beginning to work that in a co-designed way, which is again a very impressive way of working, and you know, I take pride in the fact that Bolton are so good at that kind of thing and really do value the opinions of people outside of their own spheres of work. That when we were looking at those things, we understood that it was all about trying to make Bolton a better place, trying to ensure that people were realising their potential within Bolton, and that we had these themes of starting well, living well, and ageing well. And surely, to goodness, they are very much the values that we find within our faith, within our Christian faith. They are the things that we would say that God would want for us to start well, to live well and to age well. So I think that the top tips for me in terms of this engagement is A, make sure that people are aware of who you are, where you are, what you stand for. B, that you are willing to put in the miles and to put yourself forward and to give time to this agenda. And C, to make sure that you are willing to feed into that agenda and to be part and parcel of it, and to help them in their agenda of whatever it might be in terms of making your town, your city a better place to live and work.